Welcome everyone to another GAK9 Australia video review with Vino, the Tavurin. Now, really nice track start here. So I had Tara approach at a 90-degree angle to the direction of the track, just to make sure that Vino is using their brain, so to speak, and solving the problem that just because they've approached an article in a certain direction doesn't mean that it just keeps going straight in that direction. Using a fence there is a nice little guide to sort of make the dog have a bit of a dichotomy between going left or right. And in this case, they made the right choice and went left. So really happy with what I saw at the start there. Tara, just teaching point now is just make sure you don't forget to give the word of command to start the track. Whatever that's going to be, search, zook, chercher, doesn't matter. Start introducing the word of command once you see Vino take odour from the article and you give him that suck on the lead. Now, in terms of tracking behaviour throughout this track, it's worth noting for those playing at home that this is a fairly fresh track. This is like 10-15 minutes old. I remember this day the weather was fairly warm, which was quite nice. But what we can see is Vino throughout this track is actually detailing really nicely throughout, which is really good to see. It's a very natural style that Vino's got. They follow a little bit of blown odour and then they get back to the easiest source of odour as they're working. Now here we've just overshot the corner a little bit, which isn't to say there isn't odour out where we just were, but as we can see we have a really beautiful change of behaviour with Vino, where they basically hit where they've lost odour and then they've run back to where they last had odour. And they've solved the problem really nicely there and very efficiently, which is good to see, and nice handling by Tara. What we're about to see in a moment, though, is when Vino right here hits the direct odour pool that I am giving off. I'm actually the track layer for this one. And you can see the moment of confusion there as they're unsure what to do. Again, this is why we always train with a track layer at the end of the track for the duration of the track. As these problems, unless they're done in a repetitious manner, can really derail tracks in the future. So absolutely fantastic job by Vino here. A fantastic track that was awesome to see. Great, so just a couple of things with this track start here. Number one, next time let's go even slower to the start of the article as we're approaching. That way it'll force the dog to sort of rip the ground up a little bit and potentially become a little more interested about what's lower to the ground in front of them versus looking out further away from themselves. The second thing too, as we get started here, is avoid talking to the dog and say anything else other than the track start command. I know you said ready a couple of times there as Vino sort of dithered around the start article, a little bit confused there. Try and avoid saying anything else to the dog that might accidentally put them into a different frame of mind for this activity. Now, moving on to the track itself, this is a great little track with a bunch of really cool stuff to call out, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So for starters, this again track is about 10 minutes old. I agitated Vino from the vehicle, so Vino didn't actually see me run off per se. They just saw that I had a nice reward before I left the car park and went out and laid this track. So we're getting closer and closer to starting the track without seeing the track layer at all, which is really good to see. Now, in terms of accuracy here, Vino's pretty much spot on up until this crossing here, and as you can tell from Tara's pace, it's very clear that something has happened. We've just had that really beautiful, clear, strong pace as we've moved along, and now Vino, the wind's blown out of their sails, they've had a little stress shake off there, and they're going into a bit of hunting behavior here, trying to relocate the track. But as you can see, there's no directionality to it. Even Vino, their head's up, they're looking around, they look back at the handler, they're a little bit confused about what to do. Vino does a really nice job here, and as does Tara, giving Vino the space to figure this problem out for themselves instead of just taking them back to where they last had odour, which I really like at this stage of training to see. We're going to see in a moment, playing with our leash here, which is good, getting that all sorted out. We'll see in just a second, Vino's going to cross back over. Also too, you'll see this lovely rabbit bolt out of the bush. So Vino passed only within a foot or two of this massive rabbit, paid no attention whatsoever, and there's no way that Vino wouldn't have been able to smell that rabbit either. Now, this is the coolest bit of the track here is in terms of dog body language. We see this beautiful detailing here as Vino has picked up my track again. It's almost this shudder through the spine as the dog posture and intensity and everything tells you that I've re-picked up the track almost to my footsteps. So Vino did a really nice job there of recovering the track, which was good to see. And the body language is the most important thing to take note of there, as that is a great thing to be paying attention to in terms of cataloging what your dog's body language looks like as you're working. So really, really good little track there and great handling. Great. So just to summarize some very simple teaching points here and some lessons to pull out about Vino. I think their body language is incredibly easy to read. You can especially see on the corners if they overshoot them, and their ability to recover fairly independently is fantastic, even at this very, very, very junior level of tracking. Having a dog that understands how to solve problems for itself without the handler having to constantly interfere and assist is the best thing ever for a tracking dog. So really, really happy with how they're progressing and how Vino is learning the various skills needed to become a excellent and finished tracking dog. Just remember when the track starts, slow down the start a little bit, let Vino drag a little bit more. The drive is more than sufficient to do that. And just remember there's only one word that should come out of your mouth as you start the track, and that's whatever your track start command is, regardless of what Vino is doing. So just keep that in mind for the future. Looking forward to seeing the next video. I know I already gave you the instructions for the next one, which is a little bit more of the same as the last video in this series just here. So looking forward to seeing that one, reviewing it, seeing how that's going, and I think we're getting closer and closer to cold starts and really pushing out the distance. We're hitting 300 meters now. For those of you who can't tell from home, we are inching closer and closer to cold starts and really pushing and adding corners and more age to these tracks. It's beautiful to see how fast dogs can progress in the system, and Vino is doing an absolutely fantastic job. So really, really, really great work, Tara. Nice work.